Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Mystic Destinies. Whoa! Okay, I don't know. Mystic Destinies. There. That was awful. Anyway, so we are on chapter 2 of Tatsuya's Path. So, chapter 2, Below Zero. I have to yawn. Woo. And it's one of the 4 traditional elements that can be manipulated. 3 of us walk into the classroom together with the lesson already started. Luckily for us, everyone seems to be so engaged in listening to Professor Kazama that they don't notice us. There aren't that many seats left to choose from, but Tatsuya finds some empty ones closer to the windows. As I sit down, he and Takumi sit on either side of me. With water, however, Hikaru's eyes finally catch us. They dance from Tatsuya to me, and then to Takumi. Takumi only briefly raises a single eyebrow. With water, there's also its other form, ice. Usually, you will see ice manipulation referred to as cryokinesis, especially in more scholarly circles. Highly skilled cryokinetics have been known to use some brilliant strategies to defeat their enemies, even those who use such opposing elements like fire. He glances at Tatsuya with a smile, and out of the corner of my eye, I can see Tatsuya sit up straighter. And luckily for us, today we happen to have an excellent cryokinetic in class with us. Yukimura, would you come up here and do a quick demonstration for us? Tatsuya pulls himself up from his seat and makes his way to the front of the class. He stands next to the professor. After a moment's thought, he holds out his hands in front of him as if he was holding something. I gasp at what I see. From Tatsuya's clasped hands, ice suddenly spikes out and moves together rapidly into a single sleek form, a sword. The ice blade glitters beautifully in the light. Woo! Go! Make an ice sword. All of the students stare at Tatsuya in amazement as he swings his sword around for demonstration. His moves are sharp and precise. And although the sword's edge looks blunt, the form itself is elegant, and I get the feeling Tatsuya is more than skilled enough to use it. Logically, I know Tatsuya wouldn't just attack anyone in the class, but even as he stands in a relative relaxed pose, I can sense the danger that lies behind it. I've used this type of weapon many times to practice sparring with my grandfather. One of the ice's key benefits is that in capable hands, it can become a literal and reliable weapon. Thank you for that excellent example, Yukimura. To form a functional weapon out of ice, it takes a lot of skill, and it takes even more to get it into the desired shape. Now, out of those here who are cryokinetics, would any of you like to try making something? Many hands go up, but I make no attempt to move. Knowing that I can't make ice, it seems rather pointless to try and volunteer. Even if I did volunteer, who knows what could happen? Besides, I'd rather find out whether I can do it somewhere private, somewhere I can't embarrass myself or blow something up by accident. My lord, I cannot read tonight. As I watch a focused Tatsuya help the other students practice, I realize that I'm actually quite surprised. I never would have guessed that he was the type to do any sort of physical work. Watching him swing his sword around to demonstrate how to attack and defend with the sword, I end up trying to imagine how Tatsuya might actually look working out. Oh, hello, girl. Memories of how Tatsuya picked me up in his arms, how easily he carried me as he ran, flood into my mind. As soon as the thoughts come to the forefront of my mind, I can feel my cheeks heat up. No, stop. The last thing you need is to start imagining him without a shirt on or something. Too late! With my face burning up, I'm immensely thankful that no one has noticed it. I'm like waiting for it. I'm like, Takumi's watching you, and already impressed with Tatsu, I see. Takumi grins wolfishly at me. He leans in just that little bit closer to me as he speaks. Ugh, I spoke too soon. I ignore my own blushing face. He's clearly very skilled. I don't see why anyone wouldn't be impressed. He chuckles at my response, not looking very convinced. Am I really that easy to read? Yes, girl, you just insta-loved him. It's not even funny. I try to hide my annoyance at how easily he seemed to see through me. For all he could know, maybe I was admiring Hikaru instead. Well, he is pretty fun. I let out a quiet sigh. Well, whatever. I try to focus on watching the rest of the students practice their ice magic as best as I can. Sorry, I just had to cough and clear my throat. After the lesson ends, Tatsuya, Takumi, and I walk together out of class. I manage to wait until we're out of the elevator before my curiosity gets the better of me. I look to Tatsuya as we walk down the hallway. So, Yukimura, those ice weapons. I'm assuming that when you hold them, you don't feel the cold. You would be correct, although cold doesn't affect me in general. What about he... Oh, guys, look, it's gonna rain. We both looked at Takumi, who stopped by one of the windows. He looks at the sky with a pout. I better hurry home. I need to prepare for a job I have to do later. If the ground is going to be slick, I need some additional gear. Gear? I'm confused about what Takumi is talking about. But before I can ask, he gives us a quick wave goodbye and runs off, leaving only Tatsuya and I. Tatsuya doesn't show much of a reaction to Takumi, so I can only assume that it's not unusual for him to just yell and run off like that. Meanwhile, I find it hard to get used to. There's something about Takumi that I can't quite put my finger on. He's an odd duck. He's so strange. As we walk, I feel like I'm at the edge of remembering where I might know Takumi from, and why he feels so familiar to me because he found your wallet when you dropped it. Good lord, girl. My phone goes off in my pocket, startling me out of my thoughts. I quickly pull it out to see Dad on the screen. Oh, that's right. Doesn't in the one with Show, she knew Takumi like when they were kids or something, right? So, hello? Hey, sweetie, how are you? Good. Is something wrong? No, I was just calling to ask if you can come down to the office tonight if you're free. I'd like to have dinner with you and catch up. And I'd also like to talk to you about the business. He hasn't asked me down there in so long. Actually, hearing the question from my dad leaves me a little speechless. Of course, I'd love to. Since school started, I've been feeling a little lonely. Not that I would tell him that. But I'm more than happy to meet him. I don't even bother to hide the excitement from my voice, and I can hear Dad laugh at the other end of the line. All right, I'll see you tonight then. Bye, Dad. As the phone call ends, I immediately turn to Tatsuya, who seems to have been patiently waiting for me to finish my call. Yukimura, it looks like you don't need to walk me home anymore. I need to go to the station. It might start raining any moment, though. That's fine, I'll just have to deal with it. I have to go to the station anyway. Oh, wait, was that her? Oh no, he was, okay. I have to go to the station anyway, so we might as well walk together. I can help with the rain. Help? Well, if you insist. Does he mean like buy an umbrella? I can do that myself. He can be a little pushy sometimes. But still, it might be nice not to have to walk alone. Tatsuya leads the way out, and I follow him without further complaint. It's been a while since we left Hagawara, and we're walking down a different road than usual. Hey, this is a new one. I haven't seen this one before. Cool. I look up at the skies that are threatening to spill at any moment. Maybe it's not going to rain after all? In a blink of an eye, the skies tear open and rain starts pouring down around us. I stop walking and sigh, dejected at the downpour. Beside me, I barely notice that Tatsuya has also stopped walking. Aww. He reaches out his hand a little, feeling the raindrops as if he's never felt rain before. This sucks. I thought we might make it to the station before it started raining. Tatsuya says nothing, but closes his eyes and clenches his fists with a deliberate motion. An ice umbrella. Yukimura, what are you... I watch as the rain directly around us turns to snow. Doing? The last part of the question falls out of my mouth, faint as a whisper. I stare up at the sky in amazement, all thoughts left behind. This is... No way. Oh my god. This is amazing, Tatsuya. I didn't know you could do something like this. I watched the gently falling snowflakes. How romantic, he made it snow for you. I only get a short glimpse of the many different beautiful fractals before they quickly melt from the heat of the air. I can feel Tatsuya's quiet gaze on me while I admire the spontaneous snowfall. I mean, this is like romance movie shit going on right here. Like, he's staring at you longingly and you're like, ah, you made it snow for me, it's so beautiful. Then you fall in love and then there's a minor misunderstanding, but it's okay because you make up in the end. The end. Because we can't draw too much attention, I need to keep the area of effect pretty small. So you better stay close to me. I apologize. This is about as much as I can do. But we should be able to get by without anyone further away noticing since it's raining so hard. At least until we can get to a shop to buy some umbrellas. We continue walking along the road, so close that our arms and hands occasionally brush against each other. Just put your arm around her. I marvel at the beautifully dancing snowflakes and our own little snow flurry. This game and Amnesia Memories has just ruined me. It's just ruined my life, and like the fact that now I'm all soft and mushy on the inside because no, you're so cute and I'm all warm and squishy and fuzzy and love and puppies and kittens and rainbows and Sparkles the unicorn and it's melting my cold. I need Dragon Boy over there to like freeze my heart back into the cold, sharp, pointy, frigid lump that it was before. Stupid games make me all sappy, but they're so cute. Anyway, I'm getting mushy and soft. I casually peek at Tetsuya, who's only looking ahead, anywhere but at me. The sweetness of what he did isn't lost on me. We're standing so close. Oh, sorry. We're standing so close, though, but I guess it can't be helped. Deciding to simply enjoy the snow while I can, I brush away any other thoughts. We make it to the station without any incident, though we talked much more than usual along the way. The rain stopped before we even reached the shop to buy umbrellas, so in the end we didn't get them. Although I didn't say anything about it, I felt a little disappointed when the rain stopped because it meant the end of my private snow flurry. I glanced at Tetsuya. I doubt it will ever come up again, but I did really appreciate it. It's probably one of the sweetest things someone's done for me. Tell him! The air is filled with the sounds of the everyday hustle and bustle of people coming in and out of the building in an almost constant stream. He stops in front of the station and turns to me, shifting his weight from one leg to the other. Tetsuya looks down at me, and somehow it feels like his dark blue eyes are trying to see into my very soul. Well, I'll see you later. He moves to leave, only to immediately stop and turn back around. He looks thoughtful as he quickly adds something. I'll call you later to explain today's lesson if you want. Oh, okay, sure. That would be helpful, thank you. Tetsuya gives me a short nod and strides off deeper into the station to catch his train. I'll call you later because I'm secretly in love with you, but I don't want you to know that. Because my mother's pushing me onto you, but I still love you. He does. That's exactly what he was going to say. 100%! I love you, Sparkles the unicorn. Left alone, I stare at his retreating back, feeling a strange heaviness in my chest. I shake my head, hoping to chase the strange feeling away from me. Not wanting to be late to meet Dad, I tear my eyes away from Tetsuya and finally move to catch my own train. Oh no, I hope I didn't miss it. With that thought in mind, I rush off through the crowds and hope I don't have to wait for the next train. And again, the one before and this one are all new. Having somehow managed to get into a train on time, I've entered the main building for Shinomura Industries. When I enter the lobby, I'm immediately greeted by the kind and gentle smile of the receptionist, Mrs. Marino. Hello, Miss Shinomura. It's so good to see you again. Hello, Miss Marino. It's really nice to see you too. It's been far too long. Dad asked me to come and meet him. Is he still busy? Mrs. Marino nods lightly, her light brown hair swaying at the movement. Yes, I'm sorry, Miss Shinomura. One of your father's meetings ran over, so he now has one more meeting to attend before he's free for the night. If you could wait for him, I'm sure he won't take too long. A stab of disappointment pops my previous enthusiasm. Oh, well, I guess it can't be helped. Dad is a busy man after all. They call her Shinomura, even though her name is Sparkles the Unicorn. I try to hide my negative feelings behind a smile. Okay, thank you for telling me, Miss Marino. I'll just wait here in the lobby then. Of course, Mrs. Shinomura. I'll bring out some refreshments for you while you wait. I give the receptionist one last smile and go sit down on one of the guest armchairs by the wall. I sink myself into the black leather and sigh. Feels oddly relaxing to be able to sit here in the lobby after not having been here for so long. Mrs. Marino works as efficiently as ever. She quickly brings out a cup of some vanilla iced coffee and a couple of biscuits to go with it. I think one of the things they said too that they wanted to do in the Kickstarters maybe add like the little character things for some of the minor characters, and I would love to see one for like Mrs. Marino and like the people, like the girl in the classroom in shows. One, like they're always having people talk, or like shows parents. Like they don't have their little things, even if they didn't move, you know, even if they were just stationary and they didn't have different expressions, it would be nice to have them because it's weird just looking at a backdrop while you're talking to someone. I don't know. And then she goes back to her desk just as quickly. My eyes wander around the silent lobby. There's barely any people here, although that's not too surprising considering the time. I sigh, pick up the coffee cup, and lean back in the armchair ready to wait. As I slowly sip my drink, my mind starts to drift to what Tetsuya had told me while we were walking in the snow. We walk along the road quietly. Even though this isn't the first time we're alone in silence like this, somehow something feels different. I love you, Sparkles the unicorn. He whispered he loved us. Maybe it's just the mere fact that we're walking so close to each other, but it seems to affect the mood instantly and make it awkward. I'm hyper aware of Tatsuya's every movement and just how close he is to me as we walk side by side. I wonder if he's at all aware of us being so close. I'm pretty sure. Each time our hands come close to touching, I feel like my heart jumps. It hasn't been that long since I've been close to a guy, right? I rack my brain trying to think of something to say, but for once, Tatsuya beats me to it. Sparkles the unicorn, do you know the history behind Hagawara? Oh, no, I don't. I look at him, but he doesn't so much as glance at me even once as we walk down the road. It feels strange that he started talking all on his own like that. He usually doesn't say anything unless prompted. It's weird enough that I don't mind admitting not having looked into the history of our school. Tetsuya wastes no time in launching into a full-on lecture about Hagawara. Hogwarts? Hogwarts University. Hagawara. No. Don't get me wrong, like, it wouldn't even have mattered if they just named it that, trying to be similar to Hogwarts. It's like, obviously, think about Harry Potter anytime there's any kind of magic, or, like, the basement with the windows out. I'm like, that's something that they would totally should have in Harry Potter. Like, they should have had windows like that. I love Harry Potter. It's probably why I like this one so much. I mean, it's magic, but it's actually really good. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I do enjoy this one. This is a good one for the prologue being free. Anyway, Hagawara University is one of the top 100 universities in the world. I'm sure you knew that coming in, but it also has a history that's hundreds of years long. Hagawara was originally founded as a neutral zone between supernaturals and humans. But when the supernatural world opted to hide away from humans, Hagawara chose to continue as it always had. That's when the basement became strictly for supernatural use, and protections were put in place to keep people from wandering in. Tatsuya takes a breath and looks back at me. It was actually named for one of the most famous sorceresses in history. She was once a patron of the school. He gives me a silent nod. I guess in a way, you've got a deeper connection with Hagawara than anyone. Even thinking back on it, I still can't figure out what Tatsuya might have meant by that last part, obviously because he kind of has to know that she's a sorceress, which is what her mother was, so. Why would I have some deeper connection to the school than anyone else? Whatever the meaning behind his words, it's something I haven't been able to stop thinking about. Maybe I'm just overanalyzing it. You? Did he mean because of my powers? Hello? I finally register that someone has been calling out to me when an unfamiliar voice snaps me out of my thoughts. See, okay, I think this is one of the other characters that might be in the other kind of second game if they get the funding for it. I think he's one of them. Like, so characters like him and maybe what's his face, the other creepy guy from the other one who was scary, you know, even though she kept calling him handsome. What was his name? The Dark Phoenix dude? Not Sho, obviously, the other guy. Yeah, that creepy dude. I almost jump back when I suddenly see a strange man bending down in front of me, staring into my face. He's kind of cool. I like the fact that his hair is like really short, but this side's braided and then this side's long. It's interesting. I mean, obviously, if he unbraided this, it would look the exact same as that. But it's like super long, but then super short. Cool. Automatically, I lean back, away from the man. He smiles and stands up. You space out pretty hard, don't you? What the heck is this? Do I know him? I examine the stranger before me. He's young and beautiful. That much is obvious from first glance. He's dressed extraordinarily casual for a business meeting with the CEO. So I doubt this guy is the man my dad is supposed to meet. And he's way too close to me right now. Ever heard of personal space? Seemingly undeterred by my complete silence, he continues talking. You've been spacing out for a while now. You didn't notice me right in front of you at all. The man chuckles. I'm guessing it's a special skill of yours. He stands up straight and looks me right in the eye. Katsunasuke. Wow. I'm Katsunasuke Kasima. Kasima? Yeah. Kasima? I think so. Just Katsu is fine for you. Yeah, because Katsunasuke is really hard to say. Actually, I'm really surprised that Katsunasuke, I can manage that because I cannot manage long Japanesey kind of names. Like, I can't, like, I'm really bad. I'm sorry. Anything that's like, I'm just bad. with names. Anyway, but Kitsunasuki, Katsu. Oh, there's Tatsu and there's Katsu. Oh, I get it. That's funny. Katsu is on our Tatsu path. Okay. Katsu is fine for you. And you are and you are the loveliest thing I've seen in a while. Introduce yourself? I'm Inara Sparkles the Unicorn. Is there something you need? Not really, no. Just wondering what a pretty little thing like you is doing here, staring at nothing. I blink, suddenly feeling my cheeks get a little hot. I mean, he is super cute. We're here for Tetsuya, not for you though, buddy. Even though you're cute. Being complimented by someone so attractive out of the blue gets me a little flustered. He's here to throw a wrench in our thing! You're gonna mess up, we gotta not know. Bad, you go away, Catman. Catman do, go, boo, shoo, shoo. Go, fetch, kitty, fetch, go. But there's something about him, about the way he says it, that irritates me. Surely you must have some business of your own to attend to. I look over his casual clothes again, but Katsunasuki, okay, see, I gotta stop for a second and read it. Katsunasuki just smiles brilliantly. For the moment, my only business is learning more about you. Is he seriously trying to pick me up? I see, so you choose to make irritating people your business often then? No, not usually. It's quite rare, in fact. You just seemed interesting enough. Well, aren't I just the luckiest girl then? I'm sure he's probably a bad guy, just like What's-His-Face. It's good that we don't have to have the same villains. But he's going to be like the nice, super, like, friendly as the other guy was really creepy, and this guy's just like wacky. I shift in my seat. My eyes quickly scan the room, looking for anything that might help me get me out of the situation. At that moment, the elevator doors open with a ding, and my dad walks out. Even from my seat, I can see his eyes land on Katsunasuki, and then on me. He smiles as he walks up to us. Even her dad's handsome. Like, look at him. He is handsome. He is a handsome man. He does not look old enough to be your dad. He looks like he could be your older brother. Girl, we got problems. I stand up from my seat as our eyes meet. Oh. Mr. Kasima, hello. My father inclines his head ever so slightly. I see you already met my daughter, Inara. Dad laughs slightly, although his eyes remain sober. I try not to frown as I stare at them. So this guy is here on business. Oh, so she's your daughter. She's so cute. Tell me, is she single? What the? I can feel the blood drain from my face. He just says this sort of thing right in front of my father, like he's gonna buy you. Maybe. Dad only laughs it off. All right, since we're running late, why don't we get this meeting underway? He puts his hand on Katsunasuki's shoulder and tries to lead him towards the elevator. Katsunasuki shrugs him off easily, a smile playing on his lips once again. Why not let the lady come with us? This might run long, and I assume you two are close enough, or you wouldn't have called her here in the first place. Dad looks back and forth between Katsunasuki and me. His eyes stop on me for a moment. He looks pensive. It might not be a bad idea. What? Really? Somehow I managed to contain my excitement within me. Inara, are you okay with this? Yay! Yes! Yes! Of course, I would be honored to... Yes! Of course, I would be honored to join you. I'm happy that you would trust me with this. Maintaining my composure just by a thread, I practically scream in my head with happiness. Woo! Okay. An actual CEO meeting. I'll get to see how big deals work firsthand. Maybe Katsunasuki isn't all bad. But he's a little shady. Dad moves to take the lead, with Katsunasuki and I following right after him. We head into the elevator and all the way up to his office for my first business meeting. When we get into Dad's office, he gestures for us to sit. Automatically, I take a seat in one of the chairs in front of his desk, one that I've always felt was mine. Katsunasuki practically falls into the seat with a gentle thud, not even bothering to sit up straight. Dad turns to me. Before we start, Inara, he isn't just my dad talking now. This is Rokuro Shinamura, the CEO of Shinamura Industries. So handsome. He looks troubled. He looks like the man who's got... You know what? He looks like a man whose wife just disappeared. Just cut and run, and now he's troubled and pained, but he has to go on with his life. That's like his backstory, but that's totally what he looks like, too. I straighten my back and look at him steadily. Mr. Kasima is here because Shinamura Industries is hoping to buy all of the properties that he and his family owns. At his short explanation, Katsunasuke nods with a smile. I'm hoping that this deal will go through as much as Shinomura Industries is. Oh, great. No, now we're gonna have to marry this guy because otherwise he won't sell to our father until he has sex with us and blah blah blah. Jesus Christ, girl, Dad, you picked a really shitty day to invite me to dinner. Probably even more than you. He explains this all with a happy smile, but something about the way he says it leaves me unsettled. I try to fight off the frown threatening to form. I see. I give a small nod and my father begins the meeting. This man, Katsunasuke Kasima, acts so strange for a supposed businessman. He's probably not. Then again, from head to toe, everything about him seems unusual. I watch him out of the corner of my eye while Dad talks. Just who is this guy? I almost want to ask him that. How important could he possibly be? Almost as if sensing my thoughts, Katsunasuke looks at me briefly and grins. He quickly looks back at my father again. Once again, I try not to show any of my uneasiness. How did he even come to be in charge of so many businesses at such a young age? As we discussed before, I want this deal to be kept quiet until it's done. It'll make my life easier that way. Of course, I read over the outline of conditions you wanted met before this meeting. I assure you that I'll make certain the process goes smoothly for everyone. Katsunasuke chuckles. As expected from Rokuro Shinomura, of course. Katsunasuke. Oh my god! They were trying to kill me! They were trying to kill me here with the names. I'm like, oh my god, I'm barely keeping it together. Pulls out a folder from somewhere and tosses it on the desk. It slides toward my father, who only looks down at it. Where was he even keeping that? That's everything on some of the smaller businesses within the family. Some cafes, some small shops, and so on. Plus, all of the info on the spa chain. Betraying no emotion, Dad quietly flips through the various pages within the folder. A few silent minutes tick by, then he finally looks up at Katsunasuke and nods. Everything seems to be here, just as you promised. I was quite surprised to see how thorough all the information was, even on the Seafoam spas. Hearing a familiar name, I can't help but react. Seafoam Spa? Why does that sound so familiar? The name certainly rings a bell, although for a while I can't remember where I might have heard it before. Oh, it's the huge spa chain that's really popular, because I obviously never go. I glance at Katsunasuke. With how he's dressed, that bright-colored hair, and just his general attitude, it's hard to believe he could own any place that's successful. Hey, just because he inherited it doesn't mean anything. Look however you want. And you know what? Just because you have bright-colored hair doesn't mean you're not serious, okay? There must be something I'm not seeing. I mean, yeah, sure, he's dressed kind of like a hobo, but, maybe he just likes the casual look. As the two keep talking, I continue to watch their exchange without comment. Don't judge a book by its cover! See, he looks all casual and cool, but he's a really sly businessman and he's probably evil. Carefully, I try to study Katsunasuke, trying to determine if there might be something more to him than what he appears at first glance. He so freely gives away all this information, while Dad is hardly giving away any. I watch Katsunasuke as he violates everything I know about business, spilling all his company's secrets. Just what is this guy's deal? In the end, talks between Dad and Katsunasuke end up going well past sunset. Ugh. Throughout the meeting, Katsunasuke continues to offer up information freely, even as my dad remains reserved about how much he reveals. Although that fact doesn't seem to bother Katsunasuke in the slightest. But just watching my dad work makes me feel more invigorated than I felt in months. Spending a few hours in an actual meeting was so useful. I think I learned more here in one sitting than I did by just reading books for class. Dad glances at his watch and smiles. I think that might be it for tonight, Mr. Kasima. There's not much else we can discuss until my people look through everything you've given me. Katsunasuke nods at his words. A lazy smile plays on his lips. Fair enough. The two men get up to their feet almost at the same time. As they shake hands, I get up as well, ready to say goodbye to Katsunasuke. Watching Dad today, I realize just how proud I am of him. I hope that one day I can make him proud too, that I can learn how to be as confident and professional like him. A strange weight settles down on my heart, although it's a burden that is far too familiar to me. I just hope that I'm capable enough to be able to take Dad's place as CEO one day. Katsunasuke suddenly turns to me and holds out a card. Taking a closer look at the card, I quickly realize that it's his business card. Shh, birds. I I take it without comment, but as I move to put it away, Katsunasuki grins down at me. Flip it over. Okay. I do as I'm told and flip the card over. On the other side, I see something scribbled down in blue ink. It's my personal cell number and email if you want to get in touch with me for a date sometime. That's pretty forward. Yeah, that's my face too. Don't worry, Dad. As I stand there completely dumbfounded, Katsunasuki laughs. He waves at me He waves at my equally dumbfounded father and casually strolls out of the office. That guy, does he have no shame? I stare at the business card in my hand. To say such a thing, and right in front of my father. Dad clears his throat, snapping me out of my trance. Shall we go to dinner then? Oh, of course, yes. I ignore my burning face, and thankfully so does my dad. My father offers me his arm, and we finally make our way out of the Shinomura building. Dad takes me to one of his favorite restaurants. Guvea? I've been here once before, but the view and atmosphere of the restaurant are still stunning. Good lord, that is beautiful. I could eat there. We're shown right to our table practically the moment we come through the door. It's times like this that I actually feel like the daughter of a CEO. As we sit down next to the large glass windows, my attention is immediately drawn to the night view of the city outside. I can feel myself finally calming down after the encounter with Katsunasuki. A waiter introduces herself, takes our orders, and swiftly leaves. Dad looks at me from across the table with a gentle smile. Finally, we have some time together. I'm sorry that I've been so busy, sweetie. It's okay, Dad. I know that with this Kasima deal, things must have been crazy, especially considering how many properties he wants to sell you. And besides, things have been a little busy for me too. It's my studies. Yes, I can imagine it would be. Speaking of your studies, how are they coming along? Oh, well, there was I stop myself when I realize what I'm about to say. I can't just mention magic to Dad, can I? He watches me with a curious expression. Well, there was a little incident. Yeah, I don't think I should just blurt something like that out. I mean, do you even believe me? I got a little lost on my first day is all. So that was a small adventure? I see. I mean, if I didn't know it was real, I would call whoever told me about magic insane or just delusional. I decide not to tell him about the magic stuff. It's not exactly a lie, but it still feels like I'm lying to my dad. And it isn't lost on me that so far he hasn't mentioned anything about my eye. Overall, it's going well. All my lectures are really interesting, and I'm already learning a lot, even though it's just the start of the school year. Why hasn't he noticed my eye yet? Why hasn't he asked anything about it? I see. Well, that's great to hear, sweetie. You're a smart girl, and you've always enjoyed learning, so I figured you'd have no problems transitioning. So tell me, what did you think of Kasima? The immediate question throws me off completely. I try to choose my next words very carefully. Well, he was a little bit strange. And even though he seemed laid back, he also seemed kind of intimidating. Although I can't quite put my finger on why exactly. Dad laughs at my answer. He was pursuing you pretty hard. Are you going to go on a date with him? While I can tell that he's at least half joking about this, it does make me think about Katsunasuki. I shake my head. He didn't seem like my type. Kasima may be eccentric, but he is good-looking and very wealthy for his young age. So what is it that makes you uninterested in him? Well, if I had to name it then, besides his lackadaisical attitude, there was just something off-putting about him. He nods at my assessment of Katsunasuki. Inara, while I'd never tell you to do anything you don't want to, it is customary to wine and dine your clients. It can help create a smoother path to achieving a successful business deal. This isn't whining and dining. This is wine dine 69ing your client, and that is just wrong, daddy poo. Wrong. Don't look at me like that with that judgmental face. It's wrong. It's a long chapter. In fact, it might be good for you to take an active role in this negotiation. It'd be a good experience for you. You are whoring me out, Dad. That is... yeah, cool. Do your own independent research on this deal. I'd be willing to hear what you find out about Kasima, and if and why you think this deal would be viable for our company. Consider it some homework to prepare for the real thing. I realized that I might have been acting immaturely about the situation. Not even for a moment did I think to look at it from a point of view of where I could help Shinomura Industries. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna go lay on my back for the company, Dad. Jeez. I never thought about it like that at all. Even though I mumble it, Dad seems to have heard me perfectly. You don't have to push yourself, sweetie. He smiles gently at me. No, Dad. I'm going to do it. I'll take on this project in my spare time and see what I can do to help you gain some experience. And see what I can do to help you and gain some experience. I was like, huh? Good Lord, girl, like you don't have enough on your plate. If I want to be a CEO, getting to see the inner workings of a deal this big would be an invaluable experience. Well then, I look forward to seeing what you uncover and the decisions you make. After that, the waiter brings out our orders, and we fall into a comfortable silence. Even without words, it's nice to be able to enjoy a quiet family dinner with my dad. I miss this more than I realized. Oh, Dad, how's Kaio doing? She's doing well, and... He suddenly trails off. His eyes shift away from me, staring instead out the window. Dad? He starts talking, although his eyes still refuse to turn back to me. There's something I need to tell you. It's about your mother. Whatever it was I was expecting, it wasn't this. Even the mention of her feels like a punch to the stomach. I start to feel like I might throw up. Desperately, I fight off the urge to make some excuse and just run off to the bathroom. Fortunately, Dad doesn't seem to notice my internal struggles as he goes on. Though there's pain on his face, his next words come out empty and almost robotic. Your mother left. She said she had her reasons for it. And I'm sorry, I can't tell you any more than that. I don't know what to say. I had my hands and had begun to shake under the table. No, I can't think about her, about what happened here. Even with all this open space, I start to feel like the walls are beginning to close in around me. Mother, no. Shizuka. She... I grip on the tablecloth, hoping it might stop the shaking. But it spreads uncontrollably. I find myself shivering all over. No, don't think about it. Don't think about her. Dad looks to me for an answer and frowns. Inara, are you alright? I think I'm just coming down with a fever. I forgot my umbrella the other day when it rained, so I think I just got sick from that. The other day. That was today. His frown deepens. Dad stands up and holds out his hand for me. Come on, I'll take you home now. Dad takes my shaky hand in his and helps me steady myself as he leads me to the door. Doggy bags. Okay, there we go. I was like, this part's getting really, really long. Anyway. I am going to wrap this part up here. I don't like Katsu. I do not. He's not bad looking, don't get me wrong. But he shades. He's all sorts of shadesies. And he's going to try to ruin Tetsuya for me. He's going to ruin it! He's going to get in there. He's going to be like the creepy other dude. He's like, whatever. I forget his name, but anyway. Hitsunasuki. Woo! Yay! One for me. Anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.